Thank you, Brian, for this announcement. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Ecosystem and Landscape Level Approaches to Sustainability, the panel on future directions. I know so far we had 3 very good sessions and 2 good lunches as well, so it's good to see so many people here after lunch. My name is Hosny El Lakany. I am a forester, tree breeder by training. Now I am with the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada as adjunct professor. Before that, before retiring 5 years ago, I was the head of the forestry department at FAO, the place where Eduardo Rojas is sitting there. He's actually sitting there now. I'm glad to be here. So that's a very interesting job, and I'm sure some of you heard from Eduardo how interesting it is. But it's good to be here. Also, I do a few other things in my retirement. I'm a member of the International Advisory Board for the International Model Forest Network, and I also chair the Board of Trustees of C4. Well, I was asked to moderate this panel, and I was very glad to see the people who are participating in the panel. I would congratulate the organizers for putting such a, I would say, moderatable people. It's some of the best in their business. It's a real pleasure to be here. Also, I can see from the presentations and the people I met in the last 2 days that we have practitioners, we have policy makers, policy people, and we have academia and research. And this is a very good kind of combination, because this would be leading to some very lively panel discussion and discussion with the participants as well. This panel is about the future, as you see from the title. And as we heard from Jeff McNeely yesterday, he quoted Niels Bohr when he said that the future is unpredictable, which is true. It's one of the easiest things to think about and talk about is the future, because some people also said that future is not as it used to be. Future, if you think 10, 20 years ago, a year was a very short time. Now the year is a very long time. In the past, in academia and in some organizations, people take about a year to put together a paper for publication. Now with cut and paste, some people produce a paper every 10 minutes. So the world is changing and we have time. The other thing is that whatever you predict about the future, if you are a good statistician and something turns to be correct of your prediction, or any prediction you make, you can use the statistics science to confirm the correct results that you predicted. And in the meantime, you can use the statistics to justify any error you make. So with this, what I would like to do with you as an introduction is to share with you some thoughts from a completely independent perspective. The discussion of sustainability since Rio 1992 has been dominated by biodiversity, by climate change, and to some extent forestry, and we heard this morning and yesterday that now forestry has been reduced to carbon. The global response to climate change has reached a critical juncture, and the center of gravity is shifting from the multilateral treaty-making processes to the diverse activities beyond the negotiation halls. These innovations are pushing the envelope of climate change to what is possible. And they provide hope for the world, that the world will respond effectively to the climate crisis. We just hope. But to date, neither Agenda 21 or the multilateral agreements, especially the evolution of the climate regime negotiations in the COPs, have significantly changed national or global patterns of consumption and production. And as we know, consumption and production, this is what all sustainability is all about. So sustainability remains, even after 30 years of discussions of sustainability, it remains an elusive target. On the eve of Rio 2012 or Rio plus 20, it looks that there will be a paradigm shift at the multilateral level. The focus will no longer be on legally binding decisions that regulate national activities. Rather, new cooperative mechanisms to ensure human well-being and moving towards patterns of resource use strategies that are applicable to all countries. In order to address the two greatest challenges of our time and in the future, which are the climate change and the eradication of poverty, a consensus is emerging that for achieving sustainable development, transition to green, low-carbon economy and green society is necessary. Environmental problems are no longer defined as discrete problems, but they are increasingly being understood as symptoms of a particular development path. Ecosystem and landscape level approaches will be instrumental in the transition. Again, global carbon management provide an integrated theme that may bring together all natural resources. From now on, I think we'll be talking more carbon. Natural resources such as energy, water, food, forests, and biodiversity. Therefore, national carbon budgets should link climate change, which is related to the patterns of resource use, biological diversity, very much related to ecosystem services, and the Millennium Development Goals, which are mainly related to the conservation through local development. All will be under the umbrella of sustainability. We should also recall that ecosystem and landscape level approaches to sustainability go beyond national borders. We heard this from Jeff and again from David today. And this is where innovative mechanisms need to be elaborated in the future. Regional, sub-regional, and national initiatives, such as this mechanism that we have now, the IMFN, will have a more important role to play in the future. In conclusion, I would like to say that in the last few years, and as David Humphreys put it this morning, the world is running out of oxygen. On the politicians, I like this expression very much. There is a shortage of political oxygen, which has led to the erosion of COPs, conferences of parties, their legitimacy as a decision-making arenas, from Rio 92, and I think in the future, post Rio 2012. National action will occupy its natural leading position, no question about this, I think, in my mind, at least. Now, we have a panel of very eminent people from different backgrounds. What I would like to do is to ask each one to introduce herself or himself. By the way, this is a gender-balanced panel. Congratulations to the organizers. This is very good. It's well-balanced, I must say. There will be some questions. There were three questions sent from the organizers to the panel members. Let me just repeat the questions so that you keep them fresh in your minds. And that's what we asked each one of the panelists to try to answer these questions from his or her institutional perspective. The questions are, what, in your opinion, does the future hold for ecosystem and landscape level approaches to sustainability? Second question, where are we not capitalizing on partnership opportunities? And the third, how do we link all the great work that is being undertaken on this topic to make policy impacts? So after the 5 presentations we have, there will be a session of questions and answers, and I would very much recommend that we have an interactive session so that there will be a dialogue between the participants and the panel and among the panel as well. We have a time limit until 5 o'clock, so I know that among the members of the panel we could be talking about the same subject for 2 days, but I think it's good to have, and we're going on a field trip tomorrow. So I will ask each one of the members of the panel to introduce herself or himself when we start. We ask it for 7 to 10 minutes, and so that we will have more time for our discussions. With this, I will ask the first panelist